Hello folks, and welcome back to Shogun Total War. I am Constep, and welcome back to another campaign series. I am going to be playing the Mongol Invasion expansion pack now, and this is going to be basically a celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Mongol Invasion expansion pack. It came out on, August 13th of the year 2001, so I'm a month late, but yes, this is a game that came out exactly 14 months after the original Shogun came out, so this must have been a very exciting event for fans of the first Shogun game, because at the time this was the only Total War that was available, of course. So when this expansion pack came out, for people that wanted more Total War, this was it. So let's get into it and check out this campaign. So I'm going to go into play game and full campaign, expert difficulty. Mongol invasion. So in the 13th century, Kublai Khan ruled the greatest empire the world had ever seen. From the Danube to the Pacific, his word as Khan of the Mongols was law, and yet he still wanted more. When he subdued China, he gained a fleet and the means to extend the empire beyond the sea. His attention turned towards the islands of Japan, a small warlike country that was not going to be much trouble to add to his lands. Historically, the attempts by Kublai Khan to subjugate the Japanese ended in disaster, when the kamikaze, the divine wind, of a typhoon smashed the Mongol invasion fleet. But what if his armies had managed to gain a foothold on the Japanese soil? Would they have conquered Japan as they had conquered China? And can you lead the highly disciplined Mongol warriors to victory against the samurai? Or can you use the honor of the samurai to defeat an invading horde? Now, for those of you that are wondering, if the typhoon wind had not happened, yes, the Mongols would have conquered Japan, just like they had conquered everyone else. And I am going to choose a clan. I'm going to be playing as the Mongols. You can read this as well. According to Genghis Khan, a Mongol's pleasures were to cut my enemies to pieces, drive them before me, seize their possessions, witness the tears of those who are dear to them, and to embrace their wives and daughters. This dedication to warfare has made the Mongols the masters of the steppe lands and China. They are matchless horsemen and superb archers, seemingly invincible and capable of destroying any foe. The Mongol way of warfare is to use this strength to harass and break opponents, and so far this way has not failed them. They also use terror and massacre to break an enemy's will to resist. This has worked in China, and in taking control of that vast country, they have given themselves a bottomless well of manpower to use as infantry. Even better, the Chinese understand gunpowder, and this skill has been added to the Mongol way of fighting. As a Mongol general, you'll have access to this vast strength to conquer Japan, but you'll need more than mere numbers to defeat the samurai. Their country may be small, but they are warlike and skilled. Let's get into this. There's going to be a intro video, which is awesome for, an expansion DLC that, came out just a mere 14 months after the original game. The production values of this expansion pack are rather impressive, considering that there's new music, basically a new faction, some new mechanics kind of, but also just the fact that they added these intro videos, like a new intro video. That's a lot of work, so let's enjoy it.
I am Kublai Khan, the Great Khan. My lands stretch from sunrise to sunset. I reach out my hand, and all men tremble. I ride with the horde at my back. We conquer everything before us. We attack. We conquer. We are fearless and unstoppable. From the far Danube to the heart of ancient China, we ride and no enemy is left alive. My warriors? Ha! There are none greater in all the world. And these samurai will stand against us. Us. They are fools and will die like fools. Their Japan will be mine. This I promise.
All right, good stuff. Although I gotta say, just from the imagery there, I doubt Kublai Khan was dressed in furs and living in a yurt. My understanding of Kublai Khan was that by the time you got to him, he was basically Chinese. Again, I don't know a ton about Kublai Khan, but I think that he was kind of assimilated by the wealth and the culture, essentially, and I don't think he was really riding horses or living in yurts or anything like that. But, I think I might be wrong. It's been a while since I read about Mongols, actually, which I know is ironic considering that I call myself the Khan of Steppe. But, that's how it is. I've been reading a lot of books about Japanese history lately, not so much about Mongol history. But in any case, here's what we have with the Mongol campaign. A lot of the features from the Japanese campaign are stripped away. There's not a ton to work with, honestly. For those of you who have watched any of my other campaigns, you'll know that I love to use agents because agents keep my provinces in order while I keep my attack going. It allows you to blitz quickly and have public order not be so much an issue because you don't have to pay upkeep for shinobi, for example, because they're going to keep your people, quote unquote, happy while you do more conquering with your soldiers. You can always leave soldiers behind to maintain your public order, but they cost upkeep. And soldiers that aren't fighting are basically wasted upkeep, in my opinion. But in this campaign, there's not really other options. I can build border watchtowers, and I can build border forts, which do give a little bit of a bump increase to public order. But that's it. It's that, and then leaving soldiers behind. And that's all I have. I can't build any more buildings, and I can't even train my own soldiers. I can't upgrade my own soldiers with anything. Armor, attacks, morale, honor. Nothing can be upgraded except on the battlefield. So I can gain honor, of course, by, fighting and gaining more experience for my soldiers on the battlefield. And for my generals, it's the same thing. I can do that as well. But as you see right here, I start off with, a decent stack, but it is a 0 honor or 0 star general, 0 honor soldiers, and I can't build anything. And I have to wait for the Great Khan to send me troops back over from the mainland. And he does that based on the progress that I'm making in this campaign. So I need to take more territory for him to send me more soldiers. So I need to keep moving. And it can be a stressful campaign just in that sense that you can't really rest on your laurels. You have to keep pushing forward at all times to get that constant stream of reinforcements. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind because the forces of Japan will eventually mobilize and be able to kind of consolidate and push you back. And they have good generals. I mean, very good generals. I will say that the Mongol army itself is quite powerful, if not kind of janky. And I can talk more about that when I get into a battle itself. But there is definitely some tools for the Mongol army, and it can be a little overpowered at times. But just by sheer numbers, the Japanese definitely have a chance of driving me back. Now, I don't think this actually was mentioned in the introduction, but this event is taking place 300 years before the events of the Sengoku Jidai. And fun fact, this clan, which is the Hojo clan, based on the colors of the original campaign, this is the Hojo clan, but it's not the same Hojo clan as the Hojo clan that's in the Sengoku Jidai. It's kind of funny because these were the OGs. These were the ones that kind of get to say in the history books that they defeated the Mongols. But the Hojo clan of the Sengoku Jidai was basically just a samurai who branched off from his lord, and he was like gifted land or a castle, and he took advantage of it and built it. He built it into something way more and way better than what it was, and that was kind of the that's kind of the whole theme of the Sengoku Jidai period is men who didn't have much to begin with. They weren't necessarily lords making themselves into something. That's kind of what Oda Nobunaga did, and that's what Toyotomi Hideyoshi did. And the Hojo clan of the Sengoku Jidai is the same thing. It's a clan that they weren't even Hojo. There was no relations. This original samurai, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but he he called himself, he named himself Hojo eventually once he, had some territory, just because of the name Hojo. He was just basically kind of doing a callback to the fame and the name of this clan, which I think is kind of a fun fact. But let's get into this campaign. So landing successful. So thank God no storms killed my troops this time. Our forces have successfully landed in Shikuzen province. The conquest of Japan has begun. So, for those of you who know your geography, I am on the Kyushu Island. This is the southern island in Japan. And my first goal for this campaign is going to be to secure Kyushu Island, which is actually kind of complicated for just one army to do. Even though a lot of the battles are going to be pushovers just because of the geography of Kyushu itself, it's just wide enough to where you kind of need 3 forces pushing down through the island. It's not something you can do like in southern Honshu, which is so narrow you can just do it with 2 forces. You need at least 3 separate, and it's made even more complicated just by the fact that I have to end up leaving troops behind to keep public order fine in the territories behind me. So it's actually not that simple in the beginning. I will say this though, if you just want to play this campaign and just win it, just to say that you've won it, you can win, I think, every single battle just by automatically resolving the attack, even on expert difficulty. I'm pretty sure there's a channel that I follow, a friend of mine goes by Brought to Bear on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure he played the entire campaign on expert difficulty just by automatically resolving every single battle. And even when he was outnumbered like 3-1, I'm pretty sure the automatically resolution had a win every single battle, which is pretty silly. But I'm not going to be doing that. I want to play the battles and show you guys some cool stuff. So I will be getting into that. And speaking of which, without further ado, let's get into this battle. I have 864 of my guys versus their 660, and this battle is going to be pretty dang simple. They do have a 1-star general, so they have that in their favor, but other than that, my army is way better than theirs, and you will see why once I get into this battle. Alright, so light rain, that's fine, I think. Yeah, I'll take light rain. And here's my army. This is my beginning army, and the main reason why the Mongol faction is so strong is because of these soldiers right here. The Mongol light cavalrymen, which, is historically accurate. These were the soldiers that basically revolutionized warfare for their time. And not that they were the first, archer cavalrymen to exist in the history of war, but they were probably the best. And in this game, that really goes to show how good they are, because they are, archer cavalrymen, but in addition to that, they're pretty dang good in melee as well, which means that they don't really have too many immediate weaknesses. Now, I will say, you still shouldn't send them into combat against spearmen unless those spearmen are separated from the main battle line, and you can basically collapse on all sides with 3 different groups. And that is something that I will do sometimes. I will attack spearmen with cavalry as long as I have that unit of spearmen separated and on their own. In addition to that, I believe there's something now. This has not been confirmed by me or from anything else that I've read, but there is a certain idea amongst people that have played this game that think that Mongol light cavalrymen might have a fear mechanic put into them, just like the warrior monks in the Sengoku Jedi period, where if they're fighting against fellow Buddhists, they will cause fear in them, which basically turns into an actual morale hit, like a -6 morale hit, I think, or maybe more. I can't remember what it is for the warrior monks, but it's been suspected that the Mongol light cavalrymen might have that same mechanic, because you will see in this campaign, and even in this very battle, armies will break and run away very easily. Now, when they are being led by these really good 4-star generals and 5-star generals that the Japanese do have, it will be a little bit different. But in this case, you will see, there's going to be a skirmish phase, and then the army is going to run away, and then the Mongols are going to give chase and cut a lot of them down. And I'm going to use that a lot. And having these cavalrymen to run down the enemy and get so many kills in the early phases of the game is going to be very important. And now, in addition to cavalry, I have some Korean spearmen that are available. They're pretty basic. I will say, I think that they're a little worse than Yari samurai, but a little better than Yari Ashigaru. So they're kind of an in-between, pretty bad armor, but they're armed with spears. These are the guardsmen right here. This is a good unit, and they're the elite infantry unit that the Mongol faction has as a Korean guardsmen. Now, they are armed with naginatas, but just like the naginata infantry in the Sengoku Jedi period, they don't really have a bonus for the fact that they're carrying a naginata. There's not like a naginata weapon bonus like there is with the Yari that gives you a bonus versus Cav. In this case, they're just simply a good unit. They have pretty high armor, good defense, good attack, good charge. They're kind of an in-between between the three elite units of the Japanese unit roster, which is warrior monks, Nodachi swordsmen, and naginata. So the Korean guardsmen don't have the pure tankiness of a naginata, but they have decent armor. And when they're shot, you can hear that metallic clanking sound that you get when you shoot at naginata as well. So you can tell that they have good armor from that. And a decent defense, but again, not as good as the naginata soldiers of the Japanese roster. And their attack and charge bonus also very good, but not as good as the warrior monks or the Nodachi swordsmen. So they're a good unit. They can definitely chop through some Yari samurai, but they're not necessarily a unit that can go toe to toe with warrior monks. Probably could beat naginata though. That would be my guess. Not from a tanking perspective, but just a straight up one-on-one versus a naginata unit, they could probably win. Now, in addition to that, I do have access to a couple of Korean skirmishers. These are unique so far in that they are the first unit in Total War that fights with javelins. They are skirmishers. They have very short range. The javelins are very strong, and they are really good at punching through heavy armor, like naginata or heavy cav, for example. And they have these shields, which I'm pretty sure, and again, I forgot to check the game files, but I'm pretty sure that these don't count as actual shields, like in starting with medieval Total War, shields will give you a block chance for missiles, meaning that from the front, there's a chance of blocking, attacks, like missile attacks. But if you get around behind them, they don't have that chance because, of course, the shields are only being held on their front. In this game, I don't think that's how it works. I think it's just a graphical image of a shield being held. I think, though, however, that their armor is actually kind of decent, and that's kind of the representation of their shields, is that they just have decent armor values. So they don't actually have a missile block chance. It's just decent armor. And you'll hear the same metallic clanking sound. Again, this is kind of my cue, is that you'll hear it when arrows are being shot at them, that it sounds like something, hitting metal. It's the same sound as when you're shooting arrows at the naginata troops for the Japanese unit roster. So a lot of times the Korean skirmishers are good units to use to bait out, enemy missiles, because they're just going to tank up a lot of shots. Now, I will be using them in conjunction with my spearmen to basically form up a front line. Now, what's awkward about the Mongolian unit roster is that there are no foot archers. And that's what makes this army kind of janky. I mean, it is limited in that there's only 7 units in the entire roster, but it wouldn't be that bad if it just, if there's some version of a long-ranged foot skirmisher. But there isn't. The only foot skirmishers that I'm going to have access to are these Korean skirmishers. Again, short-ranged javelin men. And then there's going to be thunder bombers, which I don't have in this army, but they throw grenades, they throw bombs, and it's pretty short range. I think it's even shorter range than the skirmishers, and it's also very dangerous because if you hit your own units with those bombs, you can just wipe out an entire unit. But, you know, they can be fun to play with. But again, those are two short-range options for foot skirmishers. Other than that, I have my horse cav. I mean, my horse cav. My cav archers. And that's it. The problem is that these guys are going to lose in a straight-up skirmish engagement against any foot archer that the Japanese have. Now, in this campaign, the Japanese have an availability to a new unit called the Ashigaru crossbowmen, which is actually historically inaccurate because they didn't have crossbows in Japan at this time. That's my understanding at least. But they also didn't have guns, so I think they wanted to give the roster like a unit that has some heavy punch instead of the arquebusiers. Ended up not being historically accurate in any case, but still. The point being is that these cav units are going to lose the skirmish engagements to foot archers or the crossbowmen, either way, just because horses are bigger targets and, you know, theoretically it's harder to shoot from a horse than it is to shoot from standing on the ground. Now, the Mongols proved that incorrect because they were just the masters of it. But yeah, they will still lose a skirmish duel. So there's kind of an awkward situation where you want to use your archers because you have so many. Look at, I mean, I would have 8 units of archers, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 units of Mongol light cavalrymen. That's just a ton of archers. But sitting there and taking arrow shots from the Japanese force can be a little bit stressful for sure. But I think I've found my way around that. All right, now we're getting into the game here, or the battle, should I say. And I'm going to start off by lining up my infantry with my melee soldiers in the front, and I'm going to have my skirmishers right behind them, hopefully. Sometimes I have to experiment with, there we go, that's going to work. And then I'm just going to go kind of methodically here. You're going to see, if you've watched any of my other campaigns, you know that my cavalry control can be kind of haggard. So honestly, I kind of play very similar to how I play with my normal infantry-based armies, and that is methodically. I kind of just move up piece by piece, time at a time, and I just kind of crunch the enemy into a corner. I find that anytime I try to get too fancy with my cav, my control's just not good enough, and I can't, I don't know. I read about people playing this game back in the day saying that they can pull apart the army and, you know, get them to chase and, you know, act like cavalry and actually bait the enemy into going the wrong way. I don't know. For some reason, I can't do that because I feel like my guys get shot and then they get chased down by enemy cav and end up losing them. And I just decided to keep it simple. Keep it simple, and I find that works best for me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edge my way around the side of the map here and get up on this flank and then kind of cozy them up into this corner here. It is raining, so my archers are going to be a little less effective, but so are theirs. And they are going to be relying on their archers way more than I am because, you know, I have some decent infantry and some decent melee capabilities in my cavalry as well. And now the skirmish has begun. They've sent out a little tester unit here of samurai archers to take some pot shots at my cavalry, but I'm probably going to be able to overwhelm them here with my missile units if I can get more than one engaged. Right now I just have one unit shooting, so I'm going to have them reposition so I have 2 units that are able to shoot, and I can send my infantry forward to kind of pressure them a little bit here, and I can do the same with my unit of guardsmen and skirmishers that are there. And I start bringing my right flank up here, and I want to make sure that my general's unit can shoot as well. And as long as I keep pushing forward with my infantry, I have this large firing firing line of... Now, I just have to watch out for these Yari Cav. This is the general unit, and it's the one unit that can be a little bit dangerous for me, just because Yari Cav does have the bonuses versus cavalry. So, and we got some infantry coming out of the forest as well. So yeah, let's see if I want to run away from them, and I want to try to get an engagement with my spears here if I could. So have them go here and have them keep running back and keep running back here and here. And hopefully, I think they're... Stop marching. Go faster. And yeah, let's see if I can get some shots in on this cav unit. And then if I collapse from both sides, then I should be able to eliminate this entire unit of cavalry, and that's the general. And I want my infantry to post up here. And how are we doing on this side? It looks like, yeah, they're doing fine. And now all I have to do is just chase them down with everyone that I have, and that's the battle. Yeah, not that difficult. And yeah, I just have to see how many kills I can get with everyone that I have left. Be nice if I can kill all of these Yari Samurai, because these are the best units on the field. And the rest of them are just Ashigaru crossbowmen, archers, Yari Ashigaru, Samurai archers. These are the guys that I want to kill, because I don't want to have to fight them in the next battles. So, ooh, them too. I didn't even see them. So definitely turn around and try to get some pressure into them. And they're still technically in the fight, so yeah, it's a little worrisome when these units... Yeah, I don't want my cav to fight them from the front, because fighting spears from the front can be really bad. But if I can break them from behind... Let's see, are they running away? Yeah, now they're running away. But I want to fight them from behind. That's going to be the key here, because even units that are running away can do a lot of damage when they have to run through you. That's going to be an issue. So the same with these units as well. I don't want to be in front of them. I want to be behind them, running behind them and attacking there. And let's see, up here as well, they're pretty much gone. Yeah, 7 of them left, and now I just have to get around these 2 units and make sure I attack them from behind, and I'm going to be golden. And now that we've softened them up a little bit, I think I can send my guys in for a charge from the rear and from the front as well. And that's going to be it for this battle. Just got to finish them up here. And I may have taken a little bit more casualties than I would have liked, but I think going forward I should be okay in the next coming battles. Alright, so yeah, I killed 630, and that might have been the entire army. And I did lose 36, which is unfortunate. I lost 13 men in this unit, which is a little too many, I'd say. But other than that, you know, pretty good battle, I'd say. Alright, Shikuzen province has been conquered. And I did pillage 608 koku from this, so I can use basically... The only thing I can use that money for is building border forts and border watchtowers, and that's it. And I finally... So I have gotten that 1 star, so that gained a rank for this general. Mamduk? Maybe? I don't know. Alright, so what I can do here... So, luckily, my population... happiness is good here, and I can build a border watchtower for 200 koku, and that's it. That's all I can do. That's all I can spend the money on. And as you can see, there's 2 options for me to attack. I can attack Hizen or Shikugo, or I can do both. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Hizen because there's a port here, and I don't want more reinforcements to come into Hizen while I'm taking the rest of Kyushu, which I believe there's no more ports in Kyushu. And I also want to take Shikugo right away because it's a river province, and if I give them a chance to reinforce this river province, it becomes a lot harder to defend really quickly. So I've found that taking one of these provinces at a time is not the option. These both need to be taken at the same time on this turn. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you take as few casualties as possible in that last battle, because now it's time to figure out how to split this army to take on a river province plus this. Now, this is a deceptive thing. In this end turn, after I invade Heisen, they're going to send about 1,000 troops here through this port. So this battle is going to end up becoming about a 500 versus a 1,500 battle, which seems a little too much at first until you play a few more battles with the Mongols and you realize how strong they are. But it's not so much a matter of winning the battles as it is about taking less casualties, because as I've said, I can't train soldiers. So I need to be able to do as much as I can with what I have. And right now it's going to be a matter of how do I take a river province, plus what's going to be a very, very much outnumbered battle here in Heisen, and taking as few casualties as possible. So I'm going to be taking a look at my army and seeing how I want to split it up here. Alright, I'm kind of torn on how I want to do this here. I have my bridge. This is the army that I am going to use for taking the bridge in the river province here in Shikugo. 2 full-strength light cavalry, 1 spearman, and 1 skirmisher. But I'm decided on if I want an extra spearman or not, and if I want an extra, say, like a damaged unit of light cav. These are the 2 units, and I'm trying to figure out which army I want to put them in. In this army, I have 5 full-strength units of light cav, and then 2 units of skirmishers, 2 spearmen, and then my Korean guardsmen, which are my elite units. And I know from experience that this is going to be a big battle. And at times, it can be tough because at times it looks like it's going to be like overwhelming. It's just that once I break the first wave, it's pretty easy. I just have to, make the first wave run away, and then I can kill a lot of them. Taking the river, however, can be a little tricky just because, it's a freaking river. So, what do I want to do here? I think it's tough because I feel like I could use the extra ammunition for firing over a river, and I could use an extra spearman to hold back the tide here in Heisen. That's an idea, and I think that's what I might be going with here. Yeah, so let's do that. Heisen, Shikuzen. Leave it at that. Got my border watchtower building, and that's really all there is to do. There's nothing else. That's it. It's literally just moving armies around. Like I said, there's no building, there's no diplomacy, there's no training, there's no agents, there's nothing to do, there's no taxes. It's very, very stripped down, so there's going to be a lot of battles here. So yeah, they did reinforce Shikugo, and they are reinforcing Heisen as well. Now, we're going to be fighting the Shikugo River Province first. I have 238 of my guys versus their 180 of theirs, so let's get into it. And now that I see the enemy that I'm facing here, I'm starting to wish that maybe I should have brought less. Maybe I should have sent this unit to Heisen. I don't think I'm going to need them, but we'll see. Anyway, all I'm facing is Yari Samurai, Yari Ashigaru, and a Samurai Archer. So once I get rid of these spears, I should be able to charge down the archers and have no problems. I'm going to send over my skirmishers because, like I said, they're kind of made for this, I feel like. You're going to hear it. When they get shot, I'm pretty sure that they have a clanking sound, which signifies their heavy armor. Yeah, you hear that metallic clanking sound? That's like the sound that in this game, anytime a unit's getting shot at and they make that sound, that basically signifies that they have heavy armor. So, and I think it's the same like when they're getting shot in the back. That's why I don't think it's attributed to their shields per se. I don't think it's a missile block chance. I think it's just basically like an armor attribute that makes them, stronger. So let's see. Let's get some shots in here. I want to be able to get rid of, like I said, both the units of spearmen, including this general here. Now we're doing some damage here to the general's unit, but those Yari Samurai do have some, little bit better armored than the Ashigaru do themselves, so they're going to be taking less casualties. Ooh, no, I don't want my screen skirmishers to go that way. No, 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 no. Don't fight in melee. Go back. Man. Uh-oh. Man, I'm getting guys caught in melee. That's bad. Losing more than I'd like. Maybe I can get some shots in.
The enemy leader is as great a coward as we hope. He runs to the battle.
Alright, now that he's running away, I think I'm just going to go all in and run him down. Because at this point, I can get over the bridge. My light cav are super, super fast. And yeah, I'm just going to run down the general, kill the general, and run down everyone else. And that should be that. Even these Ashigaru spearmen, they have very low morale, so they're going to run away as well. The general has been killed, and now the chase is on. And just like that, down to the last man, the army has been decimated. I lost 19, and they lost everyone, I think, right? Yeah. 177? That's a weird number. Alright, another 640 koku pillaged. And now for the fight in Heisen. And it's not quite 3-1. I thought it was a 3-1 fight, but in this case, it's 590 of my guys versus 1100 of theirs. So that's basically just a little bit more than one wave. So I'll do it the first wave, which, you know, again, will be a lot. It is a lot, but it's not like a, you know, it's not like a overwhelming amount. That's going to come later on in the campaign. Oh, and just for the record, I actually haven't finished this campaign. For everything else that I've played on this channel so far, I've played campaigns that I've already played all the way through. In this case, I just haven't had the time to do that. That's kind of why this campaign is a month late, is because I needed to kind of figure out how to play the Mongols. And so I finally got it to where I kind of feel comfortable playing them, but I actually haven't finished this campaign. So this is something that we get to experience together, YouTube. So cheers to that. Going forward, I do have this 1-star general versus their 1-star general. So at least that's even. Now let's get into it and see what I can do here. Alright, my strategy for this battle is going to be just to get off on this side and take this high ground over here. Because I know that the enemy, because of their numbers advantage, they feel pretty confident about attacking me. So I can kind of post up on, it's not much, but it's a little bit of a high ground here. And I can at least get sorted out and get in a position where I can use the terrain to make them come towards me, and then I can take engagements where I see fit. Alright, so what we're looking at is a unit of cav archers and samurai archers, Yari spearmen, a horde of Ashigaru right here, some crossbowmen as well. The biggest threat, I think, is going to be the Yari Samurai themselves, just because they are a solid frontline unit that will do good, decent damage to pretty much everything that I have, including my own spearmen. You know, I'm pretty sure their Yari Samurai will beat my Korean spearmen. I think the only unit that I have that can do a really decent job against them is going to be my Korean guardsmen. So if there is going to be a melee engagement, I'm going to prefer it to be with my guardsmen. Other than that, though, I do want to push forward with my... So on my right and left flanks, I basically have a set of skirmishers and... Oops, nope, not them. I have a set of skirmishers and spearmen on my left and right flanks, and everyone's being supported by units of Mongol light cav to hopefully get some shots in, and maybe I should bring them like that to maybe pull the enemy apart a little bit. There, I like this. This way I can get flanking shots in with my cav if they want to engage my infantry. However, if they want to engage my cav, then my skirmishers can show their javelins at them. Here in the front, if they do want to take a engagement here, my Korean guardsmen will beat any infantry they want to throw at me, I think. And then on this side, hopefully I just beat them with my overwhelming range. Yeah, right now it's just crossbowmen and spearmen. So yeah, I just have to beat back. If I can make sure that these Ashigaru run away, that's going to be a key there. How are we doing in the center? So it's just my general's unit facing off against their cav archers and a bunch of other skirmishers. So that is a little worrying, the fact that I'm definitely outclassed here. In fact, I should probably put my guys into loose formation there. So yeah, that unit is running away, and now I can get these guys to maybe chase. No, I don't. Oh, it's tempting. It's tempting to chase down, but I think for now I'm going to play high and tight with my right flank and maybe just push out with my infantry a little bit. How are we doing here? Now this is tempting. I want to send them there after those archers and push in a little bit more, and I can have my left flank push in here as well, because my right flank probably should just chill out because they're kind of at a disadvantage with numbers wise, and my center as well. But if I push in with my left flank and kind of force them, maybe I get some javelin shots here on their cav, and I just want to make sure that I don't get caught by spears. That's the danger. So I need to make sure that my cav are running away from their spearmen. And how are we doing here? So I'm still doing okay, it looks like. Yeah, so now I want to chase these guys down there, and there, that's the general, that archer unit right there. Oop, keep running, don't. Alright, now I'm throwing javelins into this archer unit. And yeah, that's perfect. That's really, really good. Are there any spears here? I need to look for spears. Yeah, there's spears right there. So I'm going to hang tight, and I'm going to keep running with these guys and maybe start shooting there. Yeah, I think that's good. And I'm still doing okay, I think. Why aren't you running? Man, I keep double clicking, and I feel like it's not getting the job done here. So Yari Samurai, I have to keep an eye on them. Alright, so I think I have an opening now. I feel like spears are there, and there's no spears in the center here. So as long as I have guys shooting at their spearmen there, now I can send them forward, and I can send my general forward as well to cut down their cav archers. I can have my left flank turn around and face these spearmen, and I have them run away. Yeah, now they're running away down. So I can turn around and I can chase down those spearmen, and I can chase down these spearmen as well. Shoot them, please. And yeah, chase down here. And yeah, chase down here as well. Just have to watch out for these Yari Samurai as well. Okay, so now they're running away. Now I can get off to the side here to make sure I'm not in the way of them. Now I have to keep in mind that there is going to be a second wave coming in, and I just have to make sure that I'm in position to, fight off that second wave when they do come in. That's going to be it. Alright, I've caused enough death and carnage for now, so it's time for me to get my cav back, because I feel like there's going to be another wave coming in here pretty soon. And the second wave came in, peeked their heads in, and decided that they didn't want a piece of us. So yeah, a pretty decent victory there. Let's look at the numbers. So yeah, I lost 50 men, and I killed 729. So again, a lot of these kills, of course, are being done in the rundown, and that's really nice. It's the nice thing about starting in a campaign with cavalry, like tons of cavalry. It's something that, we don't get in the Sengoku Jedi campaigns unless you're playing as the Takeda clan. So it's fun stuff because you get to win and you get to make those battles decisive. When you're winning battles in the early campaign in the Sengoku Jedi period, if you don't have any cav, which you usually don't, you just have your daimyo's bodyguard, you really can't make those battles decisive because you really can't kill the army that you've just beat. You beat them, you take the province, but the army gets away. So it's nice to be able to play a campaign where you win and they all die. And I have pillaged another 1,297 koku, which is a lot of money. And I gained another rank for Mamduk. And I did gain a first rank for my general here in Shikugo, Kotai. Alright, so as I've literally just left Shikuzen in the last turn, and they're already in the red. 58% population loyalty, so we'll have to fix that. The border watchtower will be finished next turn, so I believe that's going to add a 10% leap to that, so that's nice. But in addition to that, I'm going to need, so I think every full unit counts for 10% population loyalty, so I'm going to have to add, at least 5 units just to be safe from these armies. In addition to that, I want to, what's here? I don't know what's in that castle. It's tough because 198 men, it's a lot to chew through. And if there's archers there, they can do some damage to me. I can just take the castle without a fight in 2 turns. It's tough to wait for those 2 turns because I have this island that I want to be taking. But I think that there needs to be a balance in this campaign between that blitz that's very necessary while also maintaining public order and reducing casualties in your own forces. And that's kind of a balance that needs to happen. And I think in addition to that, that's okay because I should probably consolidate these regions before I, push out with this forces, because this is all I have to take the rest of Japan. So I need to somehow, make sure these 3 regions are okay before, taking Higo, Bungo, and Buzen just with what I have here. So that's why I say that Kyushu is kind of an awkward island to take, because you do have to kind of branch off with 3 different forces with small numbers, which is why, like, when you play the Mori clan, it's kind of tough beating Kyushu or taking Kyushu, because you don't really have like 3 stacks. You have to kind of do like 3 half stacks to take Kyushu. In this case, it won't take that many soldiers, but still, it'll be a little awkward, so I want to make sure that these provinces are good to go before I go forward. I will be spending money on a border watchtower because I have that money. Now, there is a thought that spending money is... See, one of the things that I think that players believed about this campaign is that spending money is a balance, because the wording in this campaign makes it seem like that if you don't spend money on border watchtowers, then that money gets sent back home to the mainland, to the Khan, and he rewards you by sending more troops. And I don't think that's true, just from the multiple practice runs that I've played. And again, I've only played like the beginning of the campaign, but it looks like I get the same amount of soldiers no matter if I if I just spend all of my money on border watchtowers or if I don't. So I think the reinforcements is linked to the amount of provinces that I take, not necessarily the money that is sent back to the mainland. I don't know if that's true though, so if anyone can correct me on that, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are, or what your experiences are regarding this, especially if you have beaten the entire campaign, because I don't know for sure. But anyway, at least for Kyushu, I know that I do want border watchtowers in every single province, because I have at least played the beginning of this campaign, and I at least know that that's what I want. It makes it easier for me, because by the time I've consolidated Kyushu, there's going to be some fat stacks waiting for me in Iyo and Nagato, and with very good generals. So I want to be ready to face that without any distractions in my rear territories when that happens. So going forward, I'm just going to make sure in the next few turns that I have these provinces situated here in Shikugo, Shikuzen, and Hizen, and I'll be taking the rest of Kyushu with mostly just what I have here. I will be getting reinforcements, I think, in a couple turns, but mostly it's going to be just what I have here, taking the rest of Kyushu. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. It's gone on long enough, I think, just because there's a lot of battles. I don't think I'm going to be editing out too much in this campaign, so I'm just going to feel it out for now. But that is all going to have to wait until next time. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and thank you very much for watching. I've been Conostep, and this has been Shogun Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.